Yo, what's poppin', all my peeps? It is I, your host and the most Renaissance man who always thinks he can, and champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back once again in the yard streams for another edition of the Smackdown Breakdown, presented to you by Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. And it's not just me, Patty P, here in the yard of streams. I'm joined as always by the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara Marshall. What's popping, girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
Hey, yo.
Hello.
How you doing?
Stop flirting with me.
I'm a natural flirt. I'm sorry. It's just part of being the champ of the peeps, Sarah. I just am a constant flirt. But how you doing? Seriously, how you doing on this fine ass Sunday?
Fine. As fine can be.
Well, at least the team on your shirt won today, and not the team that you cover.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? At least one Boston team is winning today.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a hard knock life for us New Englanders right now, because it's kind of like a changing of the guard in a way. Like the Celtics are becoming that team with basically Joe Mazzulla Belichick as head coach.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Red Sox are doing that thing where they do the up and down, where they're on the rise trying to get Juan Soto.
They're not getting him.
You don't think so?
No. Not after the contract they were giving him that is on the table from other teams. Isn't it like $600 million or something crazy like that?
It's in the 100 millions. I will, say that, because baseball contracts,
they're not matching
absolutely 0 cents.
If they really want to redo their franchise and get back to being a relevant team, they'll do it.
Which I think hopefully is the case. I mean, if they sign him, I'll put that out there. I'll put this out into the ether that I will lift the boycott. Don't know if you knew this or any of the peeps in the chat knew this, but I am boycotting the Boston Red Sox. I started my own team, and we're doing it that we're following that way. Because if the ownership doesn't care, then why the hell should we care?
Well, and don't give them money either.
I'm not going to give them money to do it. Like, if you don't care, I'm not going to give you my time or money. But if you are going to care, then yes, I would love to hand my money to you, because the Red Sox are the team that I would say I made most of my childhood memories with. When your dad gets free tickets to games because of Budweiser, like, yeah, you're going to love the team. But no, I don't care. I've got more love from wrestling, to be honest with you, for my own nonsense, actually, than the Red Sox have given me in recent years. So, that's what's going on there. What's going on with the peeps, Sarah? I want to hear from the peeps in the chat. It is Sunday. It is the day that we usually aren't recording, but because of you had family things to celebrate yesterday. Hopefully it was a great celebration. And then Full Gear was yesterday, Sarah. And I'm not gonna lie, I can see you becoming a watcher of AEW sooner rather than later after what I watched. There was a lot of good. There was a lot of good from the show. People are saying, I would say it was like a 7.5, 8 out of 10, minus a few things. And I watched it all. I tuned in from the pre-show. And then I watched Big AJ and take on QT Marshall, which actually, Sarah, it was pretty good.
No, stop it.
It was good for what it was. No, I'm dead serious.
Stop.
It wasn't. Okay, maybe I might have to just make a TikTok in itself, because you don't want to listen to
I already called you a mark, so.
I just, fine. Maybe. But it was good for what it is. I'll just make a TikTok about it, because you don't care about bringing the boom, all right? So I'm not going to do that. But Nathaniel, what's going on? the season's been very tough to watch the Patriots, and my Lakers are struggling. Yeah, dude, the Lakers suck. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like they suck now. All right, you need to find your own Jason Tatum. And then Aaron, what's up, guys? How you doing? Happy Sunday. You guys ready for War Games? How do you feel about joining CM Punk, joining the OG Bloodline fam? Sophia, what's popping, girl? Good to see you in the chat. They did lose to the Dolphins today. Sarah and I were talking about that off screen, about how it's just not fun being a Patriots fan right now. And Vinny is here too. Good to see you, pal. So yeah, we got peeps joining the chat. Whatnot. Football is going on. My fantasy team is crushing it. And you know what? WWE is crushing it. Smackdown apparently is more than crushing it after the IWC is claiming it to be the best Smackdown of the year. I don't know if I'd go there, but it was a very good show. It was a very good show. I just have the belief that they are only saying it is the best show of the year because of the end to it and a few other things that we will obviously talk about. But Sarah, I want to talk to you about it as I royal ramble on about random things here, because it seems like the recency bias of certain things and just with who it is overshadowed for the entire show, because the entire show was not top to bottom 10 out of 10. You know, there were some low points in the show and low things, and this just overshadows it.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was saying before, I think that people were just really excited about the ending of the show, and that somehow made the show like the greatest SmackDown they've seen in 11 months. And I couldn't tell you what I think the best SmackDown is, because I don't have that type of memory to be able to tell you that the best SmackDown I think this year is the one that was on June 17th. Like, I don't have that. So it's like, that's hard for me. I feel like because the shows are on a weekly basis, it's really hard to say, oh, this was the best of the year, because we saw one last week, we see one next week. I think it's different when you're talking about PLEs, because it's once a month or once every 6 weeks. You know what I mean?
More
so
memorable.
It's like, yeah, you can say, oh, that was the best pay-per-view this year. Because for the most part, there's 12 to like 15 in a year. That's a lot less than literally what out of the 52 weeks, it's
52.
There's 52 episodes of Raw and SmackDown. So it's like, I can't remember that, but it's like, I get people being excited and stuff, and that's great, but I don't think that you can label this one as the greatest ever just because of what happened at the end and you were excited about it. That is crazy to me. But one good thing that did happen was the Women's United States Championship tournament kicked off, continued, whatever. And this week we saw Bianca Belair versus Chelsea Green versus Blair Davenport. Somebody in the chat called that Blair was going to be in this, and she was, which was cool to see, but we knew that she had no chance, unfortunately. Luckily, though, she was the one who got pinned, so I guess that makes her a little bit more relevant. And Chelsea Green, in my eyes, was the right person to go on in this match, because when you first saw that Bianca was going to be in it, I was like, all right, Chelsea has no chance. Belair has no chance. It's Bianca Belair. Like, they're not going to have,
unfortunately,
Bianca lose. But I think the thing that worked in our favor is that Bianca is one half of the women's tag team champions, so that kind of helped make sure that she didn't need to win, because she actually has other stuff going on. So I am very excited that Chelsea won, and the audience was really excited about it too. That I think is interesting, because obviously we talked about Braun Breaker being kind of a tweener, and that's potentially the direction that WWE wants to go in. But I think that Chelsea is kind of a natural tweener. It just depends on what she's doing and whatever. So that was pretty cool to hear the crowd like actually be excited about it.
It's nice to see Chelsea just be Chelsea. and naturally get the reaction that she is getting. That's
Mhm.
why it's working. That's why you want to see Chelsea in these matches. Not because you love Chelsea Green and she's your favorite, but because you know that she's so good at what she does that hate her or love her, she needs to be in that spot. And if it's not Bianca Belair, it needs to be someone who is on the path, on the trajectory of being on that level.
Mhm.
Chelsea Green is the perfect person for it. And how do you legitimize a championship, a new championship? I mean, by putting someone like Chelsea Green in it, who has in the tournament for it, who has just radiating star power.
Well, and there are people who have been talking about somebody of like Bailey's caliber is the one who needs to be the first US champion or whatever. And I get it when you're talking about solidifying, legitimizing, whatever word you want to use, a brand new championship. Like, yeah, you want to put it on a top talent or somebody that is recognizable, somebody that is well known and well liked or well hated, whatever. But I think that would be the case when we were talking about something like when we were talking about reintroducing the World Heavyweight Championship. It made sense for Seth Rollins to be the first guy to hold that championship, but we're talking about a mid-card title. So it doesn't have to be a Bayley, a Bianca, a Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley. Like, granted, obviously that'll come later with the likely
It's the
women's
levels.
intercontinental.
There's levels to it.
Yeah. So I don't think that should eliminate Chelsea from the conversation, because people are saying in the comments, especially because we've talked about this before, they've talked about how she is a jobber. She won't have the title be taken seriously, blah blah blah. And that doesn't make any sense to me, because you can say that she's a jobber,
You're just
no matter
wrong. You're
whatever.
wrong.
Well, and the one person who keeps saying it is claiming that it's not because she's bad at wrestling, but it's that she doesn't do anything or whatever, so that makes her a jobber. And I'm
What
like,
is
that's not
anything?
that's
What
not the
is do
definition.
anything?
I don't know. She doesn't win titles. She's not taken seriously. I don't know. That's not the
That
definition
person
of a
needs to
jobber to me.
step into the yard here with us and
Yeah.
defend
Well,
themselves.
that is a new
I don't
definition
agree.
of jobber in my eyes. I've never heard anyone refer to somebody as a jobber, and that was what their definition was. So that was
Me
weird.
either.
But
That is new, Sarah. The
yeah.
thing with I had a point. No, keep talking because the
Okay.
point will come
So
to me.
we don't
Oh,
know.
I got the point. I
Okay.
got the point.
So I was just gonna say we don't
Okay.
know who is gonna be, the final match to determine who the first champion is. But I do think that Chelsea should be among the leading girls to win it,
Yes,
no matter
because
what people are saying.
okay, and agreeing with you because you need to look at it from a different stance than Seth Rollins being the inaugural world heavyweight champion. Look at what HBK did in NXT with the Women's North American Championship. They didn't put it on Roxanne Perez. They didn't put it on Cora Jade. They put it on Kalani Jordan. Because if you were watching, you would see that Kalani was making her way as the best of the new talent, whatever, new signings. And she is someone that you can see in being one day in the world title picture. That's
Yeah.
the point of the mid-card championship. So it's not someone like a Bianca or a, just for SmackDown, like a Bayley. It needs to be someone that is on the cusp of one day you seeing as a future world champion. Well, let's put a secondary title on her to see how well she takes to being in that role.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think we're also talking about the mid card and rewarding girls who have been busting their butt and putting on good matches, good segments, whatever, despite not being anywhere near the women's title picture. I don't think that we need to act as if they're introducing another women's championship, and that is going to only be reserved for the women that they constantly put on the posters for TV and pay-per-views. That doesn't make any sense. Otherwise,
That's kind of productive.
it would be Bianca, Becky, Rhea, Charlotte, Bailey.
Jade.
Like that would be the only people in the tournament, and that's not fair. That's not the point of introducing a mid-card title. It's for girls like Chelsea. Like,
honestly, it's for girls like Blair Davenport, if
yes,
as well, you know,
or Michin, because that was another person that we were talking
it's
about.
either Chelsea or Michin where I'm happy.
Yeah,
Dead
that's
ass.
the only thing that makes sense in my eyes.
Imagine Chelsea and Michin. Is it possible? Because I don't have the board memorized, obviously, but is it possible that we could get Chelsea versus Michin at Saturday night's main event? Because that's where the finals.
Well, I think so.
If that's the case, that match needs to happen. That would be. That's TNA winning once again.
Let me
seriously.
see if WWE post it. No, see, why don't they post the updated bracket?
They ain't.
Women's US title bracket. Oh, whoops, I spelled that wrong. Oh, here it is. Okay. Oh, that's from the 15th. Okay, so Bailey won and Chelsea won. So next, obviously, we'll be talking about it, but Jade is out. So then it's Jade, whoever is her replacement, Michin and Piper Niven. And then the next match is Naomi, Tiffany, and Elektra Lopez. Because, yeah. So
I don't think Elektra wins.
Is it the finals that's on Saturday night main event?
Yes, it is.
So then, yes. So technically, yes, it could be Michin versus Chelsea. I think that's what it should be, honestly. But
feed me more.
Speaking of Jade,
well, yes, I wanted to see how you transitioned to this.
Yeah, because we were talking about Jade. Apparently, we stepped into an episode of like Criminal Minds or something because she was found in the parking lot. Like she was pushed off a building onto a car. Yeah, it was.
She looked dead.
I get what they're trying to do, but at the same time, it was kind of weird because it felt like very dramatic for just like a parking lot brawl. And it's like she's on top of a car with like a broken windshield. It's like, where did she come from? Like, how did she, and why is her leg like that? It was just an odd.
It was so dramatic. It was like she was thrown off
a building,
the loading dock. Well, thrown off, but she was thrown off.
Yeah,
literally.
So this has eliminated her from the women's U.S. title tourney, and so there have been plenty of rumors about who it could be. We have the bad guy saying it is Lash Legend, which is, I mean, that is certainly possible, given that her and what's her name? Jakara were beefing with the women's tag team champions, so that makes sense. I also was kind of entertained by the idea of it being Naomi or Bianca. Or
yes, Bianca. That's my guess. I was gonna write it like Survivor, but
yeah, so
it's Bianca.
Well, did it happen after she lost her match?
No, it happened during. Bianca left. Okay.
Oh, okay. So Bianca it's possible left. She did it before.
They did a cutaway where it was after a spot, and then Bianca is getting into either a pin or setting up a finishing move. We get, as the fans watching at home, the camera cut to commotion going on backstage. You see Jade Cargill dead, just on the car, and then Bianca's like, what? And I want to hear what you are saying about, because I think we're on the same.
Yeah, because there's rumors about it being Charlotte Flair.
Oh, no.
Yes. The reason why people are thinking it might be Charlotte Flair is because of the image that they use to promote the match. Looks like the photo of Charlotte Flair for Jade versus Michin versus Piper Niven. When they replaced Jade, the silhouette they used looks like it could be Charlotte.
Oh,
not to mention the bad guy brings up a good point, I think. Calvin, sorry. This also calls into question Jade's availability for Survivor Series. I guess that wouldn't work for it to be Charlotte unless
You
Charlotte
don't know
comes
that.
back and is like, I didn't do anything,
No, I see
I need
Charlotte just
Charlotte back as
coming
a
in.
heel though. So
Yeah, Charlotte just needs to be a heel. That's where she is at her best. I need it.
it's because it's so natural for her.
Yeah,
But yeah,
authenticity is your best trait
just accept the
if
fact.
you're a human.
Accept
Just
it. Yeah, so I don't know where this is gonna go. I kind of wonder they have to have some sort of big plans for this because they're not just going to take Jade out of a tournament like this. They're not going to take her out of a pay-per-view appearance like this. I mean, they're trying to build her to be a star, obviously. So they're not just going to take her out of these potentially big moments without there being some sort of like massive plan in the process. So that makes me wonder even more like what this could be. And I guess in a way, even though this, when we first started talking about this, it is kind of funny. Like when you reflect upon it and you see the photo of her, it's like at the beginning of an SVU episode, and it's funny, but it's interesting because we're sitting here being like, it could be this person or this person or this person, or what if it was this and why, so like that does mean that like, okay, they did a good job, at least in that regard, to like setting it up and bring intrigue into it, because
yeah.
there's a lot of possibilities. Mr.
I
Anderson says he thinks it was Bianca.
That's what Mr. Anderson, dude. We are on the same wavelength because if Mello can turn on Trick and be right there,
Nathaniel is thinking it might be Bianca as well.
I do like the Charlotte. If it's not Bianca who did it, I'm so in on Charlotte.
Well, okay, so this is the thing about it being Bianca, which I think that we assumed that the eventual breakup of their tag team would be that someone turned heel on the other one, because that's just the traditional path that tag teams go down when they want to break them up. So you thought that was going to happen. However, it seemed like safer in, I think, most people's minds for that to be Jade, only because we haven't seen Bianca be a heel like almost ever. I think she had some time in NXT as a heel, but definitely not on the main roster. And it seems like she might be one of those people that is untouchable, where it's like, oh, they might want to keep her as like the consistent female babyface because people love her. She has an infectious personality. Like it's hard for people to boo her. But I wouldn't say it's off limits. Obviously, people thought that about Bayley, and Bayley thrived as a heel. So it's definitely possible. But in this scenario, she would be the heel. So that is what makes this whole situation interesting, because then if that's the case, then yes, they would have to give up their tag team titles, you would assume, because they're not going to get along. She tried to take her off the planet.
Yeah.
This
and now I'm thinking back on how it couldn't be Bianca because like that makes sense, but all that comes to mind is that this is bigger than the championship. You know what I mean? Like it's bigger than that because Bianca's like, well, I'm bigger than the championship, but you are not. But like, there's something there, but it does seem a bit far-fetched.
Yeah, because I think we haven't seen enough to suggest that there's beef between them. Like they're still the champions. I would think
they're still kind of thriving.
I would think that this would make more sense if they recently lost the titles and it was Jade's fault, or it's like, oh, Jade didn't kick out, or Jade didn't get in the ring in time to break up the pin. Something like where Bianca, something as minute as that Bianca could twist and say, oh, it's your fault that we lost the titles again. Maybe she's the reason they lost them the first time. I can't remember, but something like that I feel like would make more sense. This coming out of nowhere doesn't make a lot of sense. So to me, it feels like it's going to be somebody random. And the fact that Charlotte has already teased coming back, it's been almost a year that she's been out. The silhouette looking like Charlotte, it's possible. The only thing that I would call into question is if it is Charlotte, that means she's a heel. But if she's coming back to replace Jade in the tournament, it's possible that she would then try to replace her at Survivor Series, but she'd be joining the babyface team, which doesn't make sense.
But no, it's a mask.
Unless she turns on them.
No, she's gonna turn. Like, it's something. It's just to be in the match because she's the star. Like, you have to think in that sense. Like,
I need that because I want Liv's team to win anyway. So that would be great.
Micah is thinking that Jay just fell.
Oh.
Maybe she just fell, Sarah.
What if or she faked it? But why would she eliminate? But the thing is, though, why would she eliminate herself purposely from the U.S. title tournament? That's another thing that it's like, that doesn't make any sense. I also don't know how you fall onto the hood of a car.
As someone who has experience on loading docks, they're very slippery. And as someone who just has, at this point, an expertise in falling with the amount of times that I've fucking fallen in the past 4 weeks.
But she was in like a bedazzled outfit and like heels and looked like she had a broken leg on the roof of a car. On the hood of a car. I don't know how that happens, but there's a lot of questions, and I think that's the thing is like,
you need answers.
Even if it's kind of silly or whatever, there's a lot of possibilities that could come out of this. What means it to me is a good segment, even if it is kind of like, okay, this is weird, you know. We're talking about it, so but yeah.
What?
Nothing. I just read Micah's.
Yeah, that's what I was laughing at. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
it is art. It is present tense.
Yeah, I was like, excuse me, what? I used to be. I'm sorry. Last I checked, still am.
Whoop, a little whoop.
Yeah. Anyway, so.
Oh, whose game is it? It's LA Knight's game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So LA Knight defended the U.S. title again. This time against Santos Escobar, because of course, you know, he can't escape him for too long.
You just can't.
Caught up in the LWO vortex for a long time. Fortunately, it's been a while since he was, but he's back in. At least he was for this week's Smackdown. It looks like that's not going to last, which is good. Had a good match with Santos, but the main focus for me, which I am so excited about, because if you guys have watched our show long enough, then you know I am a big Shinsuke Nakamura fan. So the fact that this man is back and is so evil beyond what we saw with his, I think his one of his more recent feuds, of course, was with Cody Rhodes. I am so excited.
That was his last one.
No, wasn't he with? Was it with Seth?
No, I think Seth was first.
Oh, I think Cody was like last year around Christmas, because remember he did the Nightmare Before Christmas or whatever.
Yeah. You're right.
So he's now set his sights on LA Knight and the U.S. title. So I am so here for this because, one, as I wrote on the little thingy, I don't remember, what are we calling it? The banner. Yeah.
Banner. Lower third.
It's going to be a banger feud because they're going to have incredible matches. But I'm also excited because I have said this for quite some time and throughout LA Knight's title reign that I really wanted him to have a like real feud and storyline with somebody for the title, because so far he's been defending the title and having these like random one-ups and whatever. And those have been great. Obviously, the most involved of a feud he's had was with Carmelo Hayes and Andrade, but that was more so between Andrade and Carmelo Hayes, with LA Knight being in the mix simply because
it was
he was the end game. So it was like he was in it but not in it. So I think him versus Shinsuke is going to be incredible. So I am very excited that this is the direction that they're going in, because I think that they're going to kill it. They're going to kill it.
They're going to have a really good feud, and Shinsuke is in this role because you just have to do a job when you let me back up here. Shinsuke is going to crush this role because he is at a point in his career where he has one job within WWE right now, and it is to have feuds with guys like LA Knight. this darker side that we're seeing from Shinsuke is probably the best version we're going to see, or we have seen, I mean, from Shinsuke in a very long time. The dark, mysterious
Heel Shinsuke
is
what
top
we've
notch.
needed. Yeah.
And him not speaking English in his promos,
Yes.
doing it from his native tongue and the subtitles on the screen for us, like that's how it should be, because when you speak in your natural language, that's where you're going to get the most authentic and realness for your character. And that he's knocked it out of the park with it. LA Knight needs a guy like this, because there needs to be someone like that for LA Knight to face, to really legitimize his title reign as Wallaman Productions. I think I said that right. He said it has been a mid title reign. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's been mid. That's, for the common man. But for me, there does need to be a little bit of spice added into it.
I would say it's been average.
That's just like
I think he's I think that in a way he's kind of fallen victim to being on SmackDown. That's the thing, is that now that the Bloodline and the Bloodline 2.0 is the focus of SmackDown again, everything else falls victim if you're not part of that storyline. It's very much what happened on Raw when Judgment Day was the focus every single week, and what they were doing with the World Heavyweight title, or the women's title, or the tag team title. It was like, if you weren't a part of the Judgment Day story in any way, you were probably not getting a lot of time, or you weren't getting a title defense, you weren't getting a real storyline. That feels like what's happening with LA Knight, because there's some times where he's not even on SmackDown. That's not his choice, but if we're comparing him to like recent US title reigns, he's way better than what we've seen in recent years, because let's not forget Logan Paul defended it twice in the however many months that he had it. I think LA Knight has put on some good matches. I think he's just not in the ideal situation, but
he's not.
They can put together a really good feud and story between him and Shinsuke, then it's gonna be great, in my opinion. The feud with him and Cody was really good. I know that was kind of almost like a controversial take at this point, but I think that they killed it. I thought they did a great job. So I don't see it any different with LA Knight. Oh my God. How are you, sir? Oh my God, I can't believe you're here, Rock. Wow.
What's popping?
Yeah.
What's popping, Final Boss?
Where's Tama? Why is he not here?
What? Seems like there's trouble. And dies.
Richard said that he thinks it could be Naomi, which I do think that would be incredible. Honestly, we didn't even talk about it, but I would love for heel Naomi, because again, never seen it. Naomi has never been a heel. Even when she was on the original NXT, which was a million years ago, back when they were doing kissing competitions in NXT. Okay. Naomi has always been the like bubbly, athletic, former dancer girl, and it's worked. Obviously, there's a reason why she was like the first girl to have the black light and turn the lights out for her entrance and stuff like that. Like, obviously, it's worked, but I do feel like she does need some sort of change with her character right now, because as great as it is that she's been back for almost a year, she's not memorable all the time. You know what I mean? Because she is a part of a stacked SmackDown women's roster. So that is, again, something that works against her, because they're overflowing with women on that show. But I think this would be quite incredible. Her versus Jade, or her versus Bianca. Like, yes, that would be, because I feel like Naomi could be like a really good heel. We just haven't seen it yet.
I could see her. Yeah, I would like to see her go down that path, especially with her and Bailey being friendly. They would never turn on each other, but I mean, apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. So
I think, it has high potential to be good. Oh my gosh, we're having so many comments. I agree. I wouldn't say it's mid. As I said, I think that has definitely been average. I just think, he's been kind of screwed over in that regard. They haven't really given him storylines, you know.
They haven't.
Uh let's see. Wait, was I coming at you? What was I coming at you? What did I say? I don't even know. I don't remember because that was, I don't know how many minutes ago, like 10 minutes ago. Well, 6 minutes ago. I don't remember. What did I say? Was I coming for you? I don't know. I'm sorry.
I don't think you were.
Okay. I'm like, I don't hate this idea because LA Knight they could just have him take it back afterwards, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Richard agrees that he needs it more. I think they just don't have enough people involved in it, because if we're thinking, they have so many tag teams. That's the thing.
They're gonna be this tag team show. They're gonna be the tag team show.
Yeah, which isn't bad, but then it's like Montez Ford could also be breaking out and doing, like, going after the US title. They could have Tommaso Ciampa going for the US title, which we're going to talk about because there's something going on with them. So it's like there's that. There's definitely room for them to add some more mid-carders.
There is.
Was she really a heel? I honestly don't remember that.
But even if she was it memorable?
I guess not, because I don't remember. And I've been watching her since she debuted, obviously. She was somebody I liked on NXT. So I think this would be fantastic. Naomi, Lash, and yeah, but then they're not the Meta 4. It'd be Meta 5. That'd be sick. I'm okay with that.
That would be too.
Okay, so Rick says not everyone can have like a front burner storyline at the same time. People have to understand that there has to be a rotation. Yeah, so and that's the thing. My only concern is because, like, if this is in reference specifically to like the US title, I agree, but I also think that they need to stop, like, because it seems like they put so much effort into the Bloodline storyline, and I get it. That's like the A story in WWE for the most part. But that means that you're negating like everything else. So everything else, as I said, like falls victim to the Bloodline being the focus. And that's not okay, because it's like not everybody is going to be super invested in what the Bloodline is doing every single week. And so you're like pushing a ton of your fans to the side and like trying to force them to care about a storyline that they don't naturally care about, no matter how good it might be to everybody else. There are people who want to see LA Knight in a real storyline, or Shinsuke Nakamura, or the tag team titles, or whatever. It's not just about the Bloodline. So that's the issue that I have with, like, they need to be better about putting the storylines across to everybody, even if it's not top tier all the time.
This is top tier.
This is top tier, and baby, Kevin Owens is like, he's like on a Drew McIntyre run right now in my mind. Like, this is what I've been saying that I wanted from him when we said, okay, we need a Kevin Owens heel turn. He needs to turn heel. This is what I've wanted for him. And he's just so naturally good, and like does these little things that are so funny. Because when I saw him wearing that like tuxedo t-shirt, it's like, what? Why?
He comes out and says, I dressed to the nines, and you look at you're wearing a sweatsuit. Like, the man is just,
it's incredible.
I giggled. Giggled. Sarah.
I love this because I think this is the latest example, and I mentioned Drew McIntyre for a reason, because I think when we look at the Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk feud, the basis of it was rooted in common sense. That is a term that I beat to death when we talked about that feud, because for the most part, what Drew was saying was not incorrect at all. And I think that as a huge Cody Rhodes fan, even I have to admit, Kevin is not the bad guy in this situation. And it's something that we kind of talked about when we were talking about who the fifth member should be and why we were so against it being Rollins, which thankfully it's not, which we'll talk about. But for me, the biggest reason I didn't want it to be Rollins was because I don't want everybody that has an issue with Roman, or that Roman and the bloodline did wrong or beat down or did this or did that. They can't all just decide they forgive him. In the
Exactly.
group, they can't do it, because I think that actually does more damage to what the tribal chief and the bloodline did over the course of almost 4 years, and then the aftermath, than the opposite, So it's like they
Absolutely.
need to have some people who aren't going to cower the way that Cody did and like push his feelings aside and be like, okay, we have a common enemy. I'll put the beef I have with you aside and I'll tag team with you.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin isn't wrong. He
No.
supported you guys, and you kind of turned your back on him because you collectively came together, besides the fact that they're friends. You came together again over a common enemy, which was the bloodline, including Roman Reigns. Roman comes back after being gone for 4 months or whatever it was.
It was like 4 months.
And everybody all of a sudden is like, oh, he's a good guy. It's fine. I forgive him. It's the same situation that we saw between Kevin Owens and Jey Uso when Kevin was on Raw. So that's a double whammy in Kevin's eyes for Cody Rhodes, because it was already bad enough that Cody brought Jey to Raw, and then he was like trying to get everybody to be cool with him. Then he does it again by being cool with Roman. So where's Kevin wrong?
Kevin is not wrong. Okay.
He's not.
My king is not wrong. Anything he said last night was not in the wrong. That's what's going to make this just unbelievable, And for him to say that the ending line of that promo being, because it's all going back and forth with, you hit Randy with the pile driver, the banned move. Also love how they're banning that move. It just really adds to it. And then saying, what are you gonna do to me with that? And how do you have any, remorse, whatever. And Kevin saying, well, I loved Randy Orton and I hate you. Just that adds another element to this, that he hates Cody Rhodes at this point for what he did, and it doesn't even feel like the title needs to be involved.
Yeah.
Which makes for the best feuds, is that, the title's involved, you can be champion, but like there's more to it than just the belt.
And it's nice that the bloodline is not his feud.
It's not. No,
people have been saying for almost as long as Cody has been champion that they did not want him to keep having feuds and storylines revolving around somebody within the bloodline. No. And after the whole Roman stuff subsided, obviously he was against AJ Styles and whatever. So it's like he had some people, but then it shifted to Solo. So I like that he's stepping away from that. But what he's done with the bloodline is the basis for why he has an issue with Kevin Owens, or why Kevin Owens has an issue with him. So it's not veering too far, and it's definitely relevant, but it's nice that it isn't like, oh, they just shifted it to like, oh, he's going against like Jacob Fatu now. Like, as great as that would be and people would want to see it, it's still a member of the bloodline. It's like, all right, we're over it. Like,
Exactly.
So
I want to see new things. I want to see, he has the title.
What I think is interesting about this too is next week. So first of all, they double tape Smackdown. Fortunately, I haven't seen a single thing. I haven't seen a single spoiler.
Let's keep it that way.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything.
Fucking keep it that way.
I know. But what's interesting is next week is the go home show to Smackdown. They still have not
home show. No, say that again.
I'm sorry. Good. Go home show to Survivor Series.
Sorry. There you go. Good.
They still haven't made Cody versus Kevin a match.
Yeah, that's going to be done.
Hold on, but they have Cody, because Cody got into some beef with Carmelo Hayes backstage, which I am here for.
I love that.
So they're doing this match next week on SmackDown. And the only thing I can think of that will inevitably lead to Kevin versus Cody is that Kevin gets involved in this match. That's the only way that I think. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. Kevin Owens coming at him or whatnot, either after Cody wins or whatnot. But they're going to brawl them, and then Nick Aldis is going to say something along the lines of Survivor Series or even Saturday night's main event. But I think that would be their second match, not.
Yeah,
of this.
I think
Or
because
third because they fought at Bash in Berlin, but
yeah, I think that because it's going to be the night before the PLE, they can't say, oh well, wait till next month or whatever. It's
that would be so ridiculous.
Can
That
you
would just be
imagine?
I would be like, what the hell? Why is Cody not on? Like, I don't care. Like at this point, because of who the fifth member is, fucking don't care that Cody's not in the match.
How many
He's not in
matches
the
have they even announced? Only
the 2 War Games.
Yeah.
I'm like 90% sure that's it.
Okay.
Oh
So
no,
yeah.
the World Heavyweight Championship is 3.
Oh yeah.
Damian Gunther.
Oh yeah. But I think that's it.
Yeah, both women's champions are in.
So this feels like the
No, they're
last
not.
one. This probably feels like it'll be 4
Oh yeah,
matches.
both women's champions are in the War Games match.
Yeah. So this feels like this will be the 4th. And it'll be for the championship. Probably.
It has to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think that's a good show considering we're used to getting 5 matches, but there are going to be 2 War Games matches, which inevitably are going to be like 30, 45 minutes, an hour each.
You have to consider the War Games similarly to the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Where it takes a lot of time, not only just for the match itself, but the other theatrics that go along with it.
Yeah. So I am, even if it's going to be short-lived and it's going to be broken up, at least that's what we think. I am looking forward to Cody versus Carmelo. I think that is going to be a banger for however many minutes it goes on because Kevin is going to get involved, you assume. And but regardless, it's something that they could eventually pick back up, which I'm excited about because
they're absolutely going to pick that back up. Carmelo's a star. I mean, it's little things like that, those little segments where you can tell if they got it or not. And Melo has it, the way he reacted to it. It felt genuine. It felt like it was actually him being pissed off that Cody pushed him and is calling him out. It didn't feel like he was just doing it because that's his role or job for the show.
Yeah. And I think Melo is like one of the unique people that is born and bred for the most part in WWE because he's so young and so I mean, I guess you could say young in his career in WWE, but he already is a guy that can play both roles so well. So well. That is not something that comes easy for people. Like, I don't know that people understand how unique that is, because if you look at certain people, certain wrestlers or whatever, there's a reason why so many of them will play one role or the other for 90% or almost their entire career because they're not good on the other side. But Melo has played a fantastic babyface, obviously, and still could because the crowd loves him. But he's so good at being that annoying, little twerpy heel. So yeah, because he's a little small.
Twerpy is such a good word. Twerp.
Oh, Sophia said that her friend is friends with Carmelo. That's pretty cool because he is from Boston. He's a
limitless dude. That's a limitless guy.
So is Ivar. Well, Ivar's from Boston, but
Ivar.
I told you. That's why I sent it to you.
No, I know. With the video you sent me.
I know. He's sick. We are going to be like the Ivar fan club, I think.
Fine. I'm so for it.
Yeah.
Give me a award. We can be the War Raiders fan club.
Yeah.
Push that.
But agenda. More so Ivar. Nothing against Eric, but.
Well, because we saw Ivar in singles competition. We haven't seen Eric yet.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to see that, though.
I don't either.
Oh, do you appreciate our show? Thank you.
Thank you.
That is so nice.
Thank you, M Squared. Thank you.
That is so nice of you. Well, we're going to talk about Paul Heyman's return. Don't worry, we're getting there.
Yeah, we're like a real show. You got to wait to the main event. All right, come on.
I mean, yeah, that wasn't bad.
We're not talking about that.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about the stuff that he was saying to
that.
Cody. He's not the bad guy here.
All right, we're not talking about him pile driving Randy Orton.
Yeah,
pretty badly too.
No, that was
we're not talking about it.
That was brilliant though. I don't.
Oh, that could also be
Mr. Anderson. Don't play with my emotions like this when you're talking about my boy Ludwig. Okay. I swear I'm like one of the first few fans of Ludwig Kaiser. I deserve that, I think. Also, where's Pretty Deadly? I'm just gonna ask again for the millionth time. Because
It was a double.
Stand and deliver.
It was a double tape, so maybe they're on.
maybe. I just think we need more. There's not a whole lot to say about this necessarily.
Really have nothing.
Yeah. So Bailey and Naomi were against Tiffany and Candace. This was really just furthering the War Games match because of the people who then came and got involved and whatever. So this did a job, but I don't have anything to say about it.
No, I have nothing really to say other than they might be on vacation and holidays.
No. Ugly Deadly?
Oh, I didn't read that.
Excuse me, Nathaniel.
That's so fucking rude.
That was so mean. They are not ugly, okay? Elton is busy being a dad, first of all, because he got a baby. And Kitty is a recently married man. So it was his birthday last week. I was like, happy birthday, Kitty.
Marriage takes time, He needs to be there.
Yeah, because he's with oh my god, why do I always forget her name?
In NXT?
Yeah.
Yes.
What is her name? Why do I always forget?
I'm so bad with names. You know how many names I have to remember on a daily basis?
Oh my god.
That's why I just say chef. It's so much easier.
Now I need to look it up because
or
I
my
can't
dude.
remember her name.
I'm a big my dude.
Wilson, his wife.
Yeah, we gotta figure out
Stevie Turner. That's her name.
Stevie Turner. I know who that is.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know why I forget. She's cute.
Holy shit! It's Danny DeVito.
You were funny, Nathaniel. You were funny. Moving on to Montez Ford versus Tommaso Ciampa, and as I say, they expectedly stole the show. I mean, let's be real. If you did not expect them to steal the show, then I don't know what you've been watching. I don't know if you've never seen Montez Ford in a match or if you've never seen Tommaso Ciampa, but come on. So this, of course, has a lot of storyline into it because of the Street Profits and DIY, but then you also have to include Motor City Machine Guns. There's just like a bunch that goes into what is going on right now, and I am here for it, honestly. I love that there are 3 different teams that are involved in the tag team title race, but I like that they're deciding to go beyond just showing us repeat tag team match after repeat tag team match, and they're like, all right, let's do singles matches too, because that's the kind of stuff that we want to see. As great as Street Profits versus DIY is and forever will be, please give me Montez Ford versus Tommaso Ciampa. Please give me like Johnny Gargano versus Angelo Dawkins. I will watch that. You even throw in singles matches with Motor City Machine Guns if you want. Like, I am here for that. Please.
Yeah,
that makes this a lot more interesting in my eyes.
I say this seriously. Let's introduce the WWE universe into the Motor City Machine Guns being gifted singles competitors too, because they definitely don't realize that. They probably don't realize that Chris Sabin was one of the founding fathers, essentially, of the Ultimate X match. Which, if you don't know what an Ultimate X match is, I don't have the time to explain it. Just go to YouTube. All right, after this show, go type it in because that match is incredible. And Alex Shelley, before, was the TNA World Champion when they were doing the transition back from Impact TNA with Scott D'Amore. So, I mean, you just give it to me because those singles matches would be equally as entertaining as their tag team matches.
Well, and I think that's actually a really good idea to like fully introduce them to the WWE fans, because you brought them in as a duo, as a tag team. That's why you put the tag team titles on them like almost immediately. But the problem with tag teams, of course, is that you don't always get to see everything that someone can do and what they're capable of because they're in a tag team. So they're not in the match the entire time. And of course, you have to like give your tag team partner time to shine too. It can't be all about you, So I think it would be kind of cool if they would do that with them, because it would get people to see like, oh, okay, because it's interesting to consider that they might let them do single stuff in WWE. It might not be Motor City Machine Guns are nothing. That might not be what it is. We don't know. Like, they came in as a duo, but obviously they've been in the game for a long
20
time and they
years
haven't been
over.
together that whole time. So I think that that's going to be a possibility. It just depends on what they want to do at this stage of their career. But as we were just saying, they could definitely go and be in the mid-card scene if they wanted, because I mean, they could be in the main event scene. I'm not saying they can't, but because the mid card on SmackDown is a little bit more bare, I think that we could see Sabin and Shelly in there. That would be pretty cool.
That'd be really cool.
Regardless,
Okay.
I'm excited about whatever this feud is. And I'm excited about the potential of DIY turning heel.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was looking like they were going to try to go down the road again of Ciampa versus Gargano, and I can't complain about that. I'm sorry. I don't care how many times we have seen it. I think that they have gotten like, I don't know for sure, but if we're talking about star matches, I think they've gotten 5-star matches from their time in NXT. So I can't say I wouldn't want to see it for the 18th time. I would.
No, I don't care. Some people are just meant to be wrestling soulmates, and they are.
Yes. But I
Just
also
is.
wouldn't be mad about them being heel tag team, like,
I wouldn't either.
especially
Like, I
because it's
just
pretty
don't.
bare in that regard on SmackDown, besides like Pretty Deadly and A-Town Down Under. It's like they're the only ones. But like, if we're being honest, I love Pretty Deadly. No one really cares about either one of those tag teams enough
Unfortunately,
to
they don't.
hate them.
Mhm.
And it might be difficult to do that with Ciampa and Gargano, but I think they could do it against the Street Profits. So it's possible. Oops. Let's see. That's what I'm talking about, Nathaniel. I think they could end up being a heel tag team together instead of beefing with each other. But anyway, let's get to the meat and potatoes of the show. The part
Main
that
event.
everybody say that this was the best SmackDown of the entire year. And that was the return of a very tan Paul Heyman and who he brought out to be the official 5th member, which was the underlying storyline of the entire episode of SmackDown, because the Bloodline 2.0 are dead set on it being Bronson Reed, which, I mean, I'm here for, but I have a interesting theory about that. And after seeing Roman try to reach out to Paul Heyman unsuccessfully last week, Paul was able to pull some strings, and CM Punk returned the favor from however many months ago and have CM Punk be the official 5th member for the OG Bloodline. Now, as exciting as that was, I mean, not for me, but for a lot of people, I have to say,
I like it.
so let
I loved
me fix that. It wasn't not exciting for me, but I wouldn't say it was exciting because I'm not a CM Punk fan. I was happy that it wasn't Seth Rollins. So that was
you're
the part-
more happy that it wasn't.
Yes,
Seth Rollins.
I'm glad that it wasn't Seth
Even
Rollins.
Roman Reigns would have scoffed at the
I
idea,
know.
which that's what I want to bring up. Not that the fact that it wasn't right, it wasn't Roman Reigns. I mean, it wasn't Seth Rollins. It was the fact that when Sammy brought it up, Roman didn't even say anything. He just looked at him with this stare, this angry stare, which basically is the stare of every intelligent wrestling fan. Like,
Well,
why would you? And
stop.
that's what
Not
I love.
intelligent, because then you're saying I'm dumb for saying that he should have been the 5th member.
Seth Rollins?
No, you're saying Seth Rollins. I thought you were talking about it being Cody. Sorry.
No. We're talking
Okay.
about Seth when he gave that stare.
Oh,
And
okay.
like, how could you ever think that? The
Yeah.
Cody, no, I'm with you there. I was with you there. But he said we moved on from it. Good, we moved on from it.
I'm glad that they addressed it, though, because again, when
Yes.
we say that Triple H pays attention to what's going on online, that to me was like a call out to them to be like, okay, we heard you. We heard you guys saying that you wanted it to be Cody, but it's not going to be Cody this time. So I was glad that they addressed it, because otherwise I feel like that would just be a floating question, especially because as of right now, Cody does not have a match at Survivor Series, and it's possible he doesn't have a match at Survivor Series, which means that he was available to be the 5th member, right? So I'm glad that they addressed it. I think the CM Punk twist is interesting, and I think it makes sense given the Paul Heyman connection. So it's like, as random as it kind of seems, it makes sense simply because of him. But I also like that he's coming in and you can tell it's a favor. That's it. Because he doesn't really want to be there all chummy with Roman Reigns. Like, he's not exactly interested in being friends with him, which you could tell was what was going on. So I like that because, as I said earlier, I don't want people to come in and start acting like Roman didn't do anything wrong for 4 years,
No,
that
we
he
don't.
didn't wreak havoc on the roster, or that he wasn't a terrible, awful dude for all of that time. So Punk, who wasn't around really for any of it,
No.
I'm glad that he was still like, yeah, I'm doing this, but it's not
It's a
really
favor
for
to
you.
him.
Yeah.
It's for
Yeah.
the long-term storytelling in this has been fantastic, with CM Punk even acknowledging Roman Reigns at first and telling him who the OG Paul Heyman guy was, to Heyman saying "Take me with you,"
Yeah, that was so
Heyman
funny.
even saying
Take
to
me with you.
Solo, "You don't touch CM Punk. That's one of the agreements I have with the tribal chief," and he still did. Those details matter in something like this, and I love that they're going with it. I really do want to see. Wow, money, nice. I do really want to see CM Punk and Roman at some point, and I see something in the comment section. I agree with it as well. That something is going to happen in the match. Something is going to go down.
Yeah, I already think that there might be something that happens because Bronson Reed is the most random person that could be on the Team Bloodline 2.0. I feel like dude ain't making it to this match. That's
He is
feeling.
of Samoan descent. Just saying.
That's fine.
It's kosher.
I think that so if we're talking about any sort of outside influence coming in, we've been talking about how The Rock might show up. He might do this. He might do that. I think if it's going to happen, something is going to happen with Bronson Reed. And it's going to be because of The Rock. Because The Rock is like, get out of here. Like, I'm the fifth guy. And that is kind of when we see him in a stare down or something with Roman. The reason I think that if we're entertaining the idea of The Rock being there, I'm not even saying he's 100% going to be there, but if we're talking about it, like, yes, he will be there. To me, that makes the most sense because the only thing that would have validated Bronson Reed being in this match is if Seth Rollins was the fifth member for Team OG Bloodline. Otherwise, he doesn't make any sense. And that makes me wonder if Seth was the original fifth member and then they saw maybe the reaction, or they were like, maybe that's not a great idea. We don't want this to tarnish what could be in the future between Seth and Roman. And they changed it, but they were like, we already said it was Bronson. We did a double taping. There's nothing we can do. I think if that's the case, or even if it was Bronson Reed the whole time and CM Punk was the fifth person the whole time, I still think that The Rock can get involved. But I think we're going to see the sacrificial lamb be Bronson because it doesn't make sense for anyone else to be the sacrificial lamb. I don't think Punk either would agree to be like that guy, especially to The Rock. Like he's not going to do that. So I think it might be Bronson, and it's possible that Bronson doesn't join them when they're coming out to go into that cage. So it's like, is Bronson going to show up? And then it ends up being the final boss. I'm just throwing this theory out there.
I like your theories. That's okay.
I like it because that would be more exciting to me for the final boss being there than any other reason for him to be there. Like,
makes sense.
I feel like going after Bronson Reed would make it make sense. Because he's not a part of the family. So
he's just part of the ancestry.
Yeah, but he's not acknowledged in that way. So
we have some comments here. Mr. Anderson says chances of Heyman having Punk screw the OG Bloodline set up a heel turn for Punk to feud with Roman when Raw goes to Netflix. I could see that for $5. I like that. I like
I
that.
appreciate the $5, but and thank you. I don't see it happening simply because Punk doesn't need a Paul Heyman right now. I'm not saying that Roman necessarily does, but it's more so based on what Paul has said, that he wasn't going to work with anybody for the rest of his career unless it was Roman Reigns. So I'm not saying he would never go back to help Punk, but I don't know that Punk needs him at this point in his career. I think Roman benefits more from Heyman being there. I also don't think, I mean, Roman is going to be going to Raw, but Roman's not going to be traded to Raw or like stranded on Raw. You know what I mean? So I don't know if they want to do that. And I don't know if they want to do Roman versus Punk like in the months leading up to Mania. That's what I keep thinking about when we're talking about like hypothetical situations that could happen from the Raw going to Netflix and beyond. That's, even though it's not officially Mania season until after the Royal Rumble, I still consider January like Mania season, because they're not going to be doing anything in January and February that is too far from what they have planned for Mania. So unless they really want Punk versus Roman at Mania, I don't know that they're going to really dabble in that, because that feels like something that needs time.
Yeah, it might be teased or whatnot, but yeah, it does need time.
Yeah.
Will Chisholm,
Thank you,
$5
Will.
as well. Thank you very much. Roman said he's my wise man. Punk said
Mm.
we'll see. It's long-term tease with Paul turns on Roman. I could see that. I could see that very much. So
I think that could be future match, custody of Paul Heyman.
oh
Paul
my God.
Heyman on a pole match.
I need to see the penguin on
Paul
a pole.
Heyman in a shark cage.
Oh my God. Vince Russo.
I think that is an interesting baseline for their feud, though.
Oh, very interesting.
Roman stole him basically from Brock, because after Punk left, he went to Brock. So, I mean, Punk had been gone, and it's like, okay, well, when I was around, you were my guy. Like, what happened? Like, why? What are you doing? So there's an argument there. And of course, it's kind of intriguing because Paul, you can't trust Paul. Paul's been gone for months at this point. And we haven't seen any sort of development between him and Roman yet. So the trust level there is a little shaky, I would say.
And he was wearing what Solo was wearing, so that's even more interesting.
I know, it was very interesting because he didn't come out in a suit. I was like, oh, and he was very tan. I was like, wait, are you a part of the bloodline? Are you a Samoan too? Is that what we're doing? He's gonna come out with like a tribal tattoo, and it's like, what?
I don't know. It's very interesting. Very interesting. That's all we got for you guys here on the Smackdown Breakdown. Thank you all for tuning in. Announcement: we will not be recording the Raw Rewind. I will not be around, and then obviously no one will be around on Thursday.
We're gonna be here Wednesday.
That's right.
We're gonna be here Wednesday for our typical Thursday show. So we'll have our typical super show, but we're gonna be including, of course, Survivor Series,
of course,
predictions. And then we'll probably talk about anything big that happens on Raw, anything that we can maybe talk about beforehand about SmackDown, because then we won't be here on Saturday, because the pay-per-view is on Saturday. So unless something really big happens on Saturday, you probably will not see us again after Wednesday until Tuesday.
A week. We can record something on Sunday, maybe potentially.
Yeah, we might.
Knows?
Yeah, because depends on how much content we have.
How much, it goes. And Saturday will obviously be War Games. There's a lot of wrestling going on. And make sure you are subscribed to the channel for all our video updates, and hit that bell notification to know every time we not only go live but post, because we got some shit in the works. New content coming with shorts even. Go follow our TikTok, No Nights Off Show. We got shit posted there. Follow me on TikTok at Patty Pitts. I got shit posted there. We're going everywhere. And you gotta be following us to get the best info and opinions. within the Wrestleverse. So until then, thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember, you can do it. All you got to do is try. We'll see you in a week. Yeah.
No,
Oh,
2 days.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday. It's bye. Bye.